Well, that's right, Aldrin. So Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is basically challenging what she says was her arrest in Tanzania by members of the South African Police Service. She says basically they had no authority or jurisdiction to do so there. She says in those court papers that we've seen that she was blindfolded and forced or abducted into an aircraft, and that the Department of Home Affairs and the South African Police Service had basically colluded to bring her back to South Africa in what she describes as a disguised extradition. But the South African Police Service, in court papers say that she was not arrested in Tanzania by the South African Police Service, as she alleges, and that SABC says on the 6th of April, this is the day that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana says she was arrested, there'd been no South African Police Service officials concerned with or involved with the investigation in Tanzania on that particular day. That when the high-level delegation, you'd recall, Aldrin had left South Africa on the 9th of April, they were headed there to confirm the two identities that indeed the authorities there had arrested Magudumana and Thabo Bester, and that Magudumana and Bester had in fact been handed over by a Tanzanian immigration to the South African High Commission in Tanzania, and then to the South African Department of Home Affairs Immigration Officer for deportation to South Africa. That is part of what is contained. They're also denying that she'd been blindfolded, as Magudumana states in her papers, and basically states that she was deported on the order and at the behest, Aldrin, of the Tanzanian authorities. You'd know that Home Affairs, who have also joined in opposing Dr. Magudumana's application, saying she's approaching this court with dirty hands. And, there are also gaps, according to Home Affairs, in her version of events, including what they say is she failing to disclose when she entered Tanzania, how she did so, and what her reasons were for being in that country. In just a moment, we're going to speak to Mkosi Radebe, who will unpack what is likely to be expected here today in those arguments. But you can see here behind me, the legal teams have also arrived. Advocate Stanley Reinders, who of course will be arguing on behalf of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. You also see there Machini Mutlawung, who's also part of that team as well. They will begin those arguments at 9:30 this morning. Morning, Advocate Reinders. Are you well? Feeling quite hopeful this morning?
Yes, of course.
Feeling hopeful. You believe your arguments will be, work in favor of your client?
No doubt about it. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, at the end of all of this, we'll have those charges withdrawn?
Well, it's just going to be declared null. That's what we're asking for.
All right. Thank you very much. Speaking to the SABC Advocate Stanley Reinders, SC, who's been roped in to this urgent application, working together with Machini Mutlawung, who you recall representing Nandipha Magudumana in the court, the Magistrates Court here in Bloemfontein, of course, from the start of this particular matter. I want to bring in now Mkosi Radebe, who will unpack a bit for us what to expect here this morning. Mr. Radebe, we have to start on the aspect of urgency. What are the prospects of Dr. Nandipha's success in this urgent application?
Good morning, Ms. Lewis, and good morning to the viewers. It will be remembered that Dr. Nandipha has brought an application which she calls an urgent application challenging her apprehension, challenging her arrest and abduction, which she alleges happened in Tanzania. Now, as a consequence, she bears the onus to prove that her application is indeed urgent. She has indicated in her papers inter alia that the application is urgent because it is pertinent to her liberty, and two, she has said that the respondents are interested in this matter being adjudicated quickly because they want to know whether their conduct in Tanzania was lawful or not. However, on the other side, the respondents are clearly saying that this application is not urgent. They are saying the rules or the standard or the requirements of urgent applications was not met. They are saying they did not explain explicitly and give reasons why she cannot be afforded what is called substantial redress in due course. So the judge has a difficult task and challenging task this morning.
Part of that, of course, is that core to this is that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana says she was arrested in that country. South African Police Service says, no, that is not the case. In fact, that arrest was effected only when she landed at Lanseria Airport on the 13th of April.
We are privy now to the papers, and it is clear in the answering affidavit of SABC, a confirmation or a clear and direct statement is made that SABC delegation never participated in any arrest in Tanzania. They reiterate and stress that the arrest was conducted by Tanzanian authorities. So Dr. Nandipha will have to prove as to who really arrested her, because she claims and alleges that it was SABC and in South Africa, and she calls it an abduction. And just to, as a matter of interest, just to add, you would have noted that Dr. Nandipha is pinning her hopes on a case of S versus Ibrahim. And that case is a 1991 decision which happened during apartheid. I wonder whether that case will hold constitutional muster.
What is also likely to be a hurdle, I guess, for Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is quite crucial in this matter, is that the respondents are also saying that she was not generous, if I may say,
yes,
with explaining how she got to Tanzania, what she was doing there, when she entered that country. None of those details are clear at this stage, which is likely to be used by the respondents to show that she had entered that country illegally, and perhaps it had been at the behest of that country to deport her, or the order of that country to deport her.
Indeed. Let me explain it this way. SABC is accusing Dr. Nandipha of not having a quality of being frank, honest, and open. It is true indeed, when you traverse the papers of the applicant, Dr. Nandipha, she does not say whether she left South Africa lawfully. She does not say whether with whom she left South Africa. She does not explain as to what was she was going to do in Tanzania. She does not explain that. But SABC are actually asking those pertinent questions, and they are accusing her for lack of candor.
Thank you very much indeed. And Nkosi Radebe, we'll speak to you during the course of the day. We appreciate your time and, of course, unpacking for us what's likely to be the key arguments inside this court this morning. Aldrin and Aledi, we will start at 9:30 this morning. It will be live here on the SABC News channel, and it certainly remains to be seen. Advocate Stanley Reinders, representing Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, saying he is quite hopeful this morning, speaking to SABC News just a moment ago, saying that at the end of it all, they're quite hopeful that they will have the charges against her withdrawn. Remember, this urgent application is being brought because Dr. Nandipha Magudumana feels that her arrest in Tanzania was unlawful. 9:30 is the starting time.